Hello. We've been talking about the Fit for End program, French intensive training for ministry in Quebec and in French Canada. And in the program, we have a couple of graduates today, Cal and Chrissy Krahn, originally from BC, now in Montreal. Hi, Cal and Chrissy. How you doing?
Bonjour.
Hello.
Tell us a bit about your ministry, your roles now that you're in Montreal.
Well, our roles are actually quite varied here, as we were involved in quite a few different things. One of the things I'm involved in specifically is a food bank downtown here in Montreal. It was started as an emergency response because of COVID-19. And it's a wonderful thing, just loving the work I do there. We also are both working, doing some discipleship groups, mentoring younger people. And that's been fantastic. We both also work in partnership with the church, Evangel Church, downtown Montreal. What are some of the things you're doing?
I have the privilege of being involved doing administration for a prayer network called Pray Quebec, where we focus on praying for our political leaders here in the province.
And then the final thing that we're involved in is with you, Gary, in trying to start up a STM, short-term missions hub here in Montreal.
So you guys, you're from BC. How'd you end up here in Montreal? What led you to come here?
Well, we actually came to Quebec back in 2003, and we were here for about 5 years doing ministry back then, because we've always had a passion and a love for Quebec and for the French culture. And the Lord led us back to BC in 2008 for another job position. But the call for missions here in Quebec has never left us. So when you started this program for Fit for M, there was a real call in our heart to kind of follow that through. And we just had to wait for the right timing. But we were excited when you started this program. And we knew that by coming back, that was something we wanted to do because we wanted to focus on learning the heart language of the Québécois. That was really important to us, to have that solid foundation.
I find it interesting. Back in February 2019, I had gone out to your church in Kelowna because Tom and Val Harbour were coming to the program. And that very weekend while I was speaking in your church, I think that's when the click happened for you to come back, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was one of those moments that you have, aha moments in life that you have when you know something's been tugging on your heart, but it just really is the click, like you said, moment that we knew we had to come back.
So tell me, what would you say to someone who is considering ministry? They had a sense in their call to come to ministry in Quebec. What were some of the things you would say to them?
Well, I'd say, yes, come, viens ici. I think it's so important to realize that, first of all, you have to follow God's calling, but also realizing that there are different needs in different places. And here in Quebec, the need is great. The statistics show how few people are actually Jesus followers here. And so I just think it's our duty as followers of Jesus to spread the gospel here. And so I would say come, and it's exciting. The culture is wonderful. They love not only the way of life, but the multiculturalism that's here in the city of Montreal specifically is fantastic. And I would just say follow the calling of God, and it's a wonderful place to come to.
So in your year that you came, which was 2019 and 2020, tell me a bit about you guys' experience learning the language, being on a staff, because of Fit for M, what we try to do is put you on a staff. Tell us a bit about that year of training here and the linguistic training.
Well, we had the privilege of doing our French training in one of the local adult education schools here called Centre Saint-Louis. And the beautiful thing about doing our classes there is that it was filled with people from all walks of life, all different cultures, different ages. And we made some really great relationships through those classes.
I call it a gold mine for building relationships. It was a great experience, and we absolutely loved it.
Absolutely, yeah. And there was different levels for us to go through, so we both completed several levels. And then, of course, when COVID hit, everything went online. And we ended up having to start our courses online, just like everybody else. So it was a little bit more difficult at that point to maintain those relationships, but I think we've done pretty good with that.
Yeah, we've even, like, since then, we've had many different calls with different individuals from our classes in which we've kept in touch and building friendships continuing.
So what's interesting in your particular case, we really encourage people to take the Fit for M program so they can learn French. But we also know in the missional priority of Quebec and Francophone Canada that Quebec in itself is a mission field. And not only it's a mission field to the French population, it's a mission field to the English population. And so in you and taking the course, we would normally put a candidate in a French church. But it just worked out that you ended up being on staff at an English church in downtown Montreal. But even as in an English church, tell me a bit about why you think, even if you're going to minister in an English church, you need to know French, or at least the culture. Talk to me a bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it was quite a great experience for us to be at Evangel Church. We knew Evangel Church from previous time here, but just the heart of the church and the staff there is very similar to our heart. They just really want to reach out to the population around them. And what we find here is, yes, in the same way that the French need Jesus, the English do too. It's a very secularized society, and especially in Montreal here, there's many. The English population is actually quite large, and so we've had the incredible opportunity to reach out into that community. Which the beauty of it is we have lots of immigrants here who have come, and they're trying to integrate into the French culture, but they maybe know more English than they know French. And so we've been able to build great relationships there as well.
So I always say the province of Quebec is really two realities. One is the reality of Quebec city and the rest of the province, and the other reality is Montreal. There's two realities, cosmopolitan Montreal. Do you agree, since you've been here?
Yes, I was actually going to mention that Montreal is a little bit different, because in a sense you can get away without speaking French in Montreal. However, the thing that we found is, because we've lived in Montreal before and we didn't know as much French, there was that real importance for us to know the language and to be able to at least speak to people on a level that is passable. That was kind of our goal, is to be able to communicate in both languages, because I think it shows a sign of respect as well to those that are here in Quebec. And so that's why that was so important for us to be able to do that, even though we are here in Montreal and we're working in a bilingual context. So
yeah. So a couple minutes left in our interview. Next steps. What are the next steps for you guys? You're working with Mission Canada. Tell us a bit about that and what God's put on your heart.
Well, in this COVID-19 reality, it's hard to really understand and figure out what the next steps are. However, what we've been blessed with here is COVID-19 has actually opened up a lot of doors for ministry. And so that has actually been really great. Like, again, my work in the downtown area with the food bank has kind of blossomed and building all kinds of relationships with people in the downtown area. I feel more like a chaplain of the downtown area in many ways than just a food bank worker. So I think probably it's going to continue on down that road. Also, we love discipleship, and so we really enjoy reaching out to those around who maybe are just beginning their walks with Jesus or really want to go deeper, and working with them to disciple them and mentor them to grow in their own faith walk. And then again, of course, with the STM network, we're looking forward to building that hub here in which we can receive teams to Montreal and show them not only the beauty of this incredible city, but the incredible needs here and how we can reach out into our society.
That's fantastic. Christy, I know you have musical talents, and you've been even continuing your teaching back your students back in British Columbia. How's that working?
That's been great, actually. I was all set up to actually teach online because I was already starting to do that even when we were back in BC. So teaching online has been, for me, a blessing. because I've been able to maintain those relationships. But one interesting thing is through COVID, I've been able to actually work with other teachers from all over the world, even some teachers right here in Montreal, in learning and helping them even get set up on how to teach online. And a couple of those teachers are actually French. So it was good for me to be able to use the French that I even learned from Fit for M in communicating with those teachers. And one of them has actually been working with me on how to teach in French, because the terminology is different. And that's not something I learned at the school.
For sure. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, it's been great. And, I'm really happy that you guys have decided to answer God's call and come to Quebec. It's been really great. We want to just thank you for listening to God's call in your life, and great chatting with us today. And we'll say bye for now, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure. Blessing.
All right. Thanks, Gary.
Merci beaucoup, Gary.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, monsieur.